Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Today in my improvised workshop I'm going to discuss the TPU tubes right now that I've been using for maybe 10 months. I want to discuss my experience with them because I left you with the not great results from the previous TPU tubes I've used, the Pirelli Smart Tube, that I found out not to be smart at all. Yes, because I've had 3 punches in a row at the replacement cost of almost £30. These were not really feasible. And also I'm going to run a very scientific test. I'm going to fit all tires and a butyl tube and a RideNow tube on my old wheels, try to stop them and see whether it's easier to puncture the plastic ones or the butyl tubes. I started using the TPU tubes as a very convenient spare tube to fit in the saddlebag and have quite a light replacement when I need it. However, the problem started when I fit them on the wheels, because the speed improvement is very tangible. The bike is lighter, more responsive, because you do lose weight really when you need it, and it's so hard not to ride them anymore. So I was quite sad when the Pirelli Smart Tube failed, because I wanted to replace them and ride them again to feel the speed sensation and get the PRs that I was getting used to it. But was not something that I could really afford. After seeing quite a few videos on YouTube, I decided to get these RideNow TPU tubes. These are the original ones, the 36-gram version. Now they are shipping an even lighter version 24 that I haven't used it yet. But this is really convenient. The price range between £5 to £7 each, depending on which AliExpress shop you use. And at this cost, I didn't even bother patching them when I had the odd puncture. Yes, they do come with a patch kit, but coming from China, for some strange security reason, they don't ship the glue. So yes, you can add a commercial glue and use these patches. But at this cost, really, I ended up replacing them. The couple ones they had punctured, so I didn't bother to repair them. The difference in size and weight is enormous. This right now come at even less than advertised, 32.89 grams. A standard butyl tube, 138.36. So imagine 2 of them against 2 of RideNow. The weight saving is definitely tangible. Pirelli ones come at 37.51, light but not as light as the RideNow. Interesting, these Pirelli are yellow and they're supposed to be coming from an Italian brand. However, if you read on the case, it says made in Austria. Yes, because these are actually tubolitos in a different color. So nothing really changes from the tubolito. They are made in the exact same factory. Big bonus of the butyl tubes is that they are much easier to repair. The patch are quite convenient, they stick really well. But as I said, at this price, it's not really a great investment. I bought a few when I found a good deal on AliExpress. Replacing them is not really a big issue. The first one used to come with a nicer cap, and now they ship with a black plastic one. I don't use the cap at all on Presta when I ride on my bike, so I don't really mind. One element that made me a little bit more nervous going on a long cycling trip like Mallorca with a lot of descents and quite strong braking required is the fact that although these TPU tubes are classed for rim and disc brake use, there are some rumors and someone that did a test where they had the plastic tubes failing at a lower temperature than the butyl ones. I know that it's not an issue for many of you that are riding discs now, but I was a little bit conscious when braking on rim and TPU tubes. Nothing happened in Mallorca, even on a long descent. I made a specific video on how to brake in those circumstances, and I haven't heard of any real world instance where a TPU tube has failed inside a rim brake wheel. So hopefully that test was maybe a bit of extreme, but yes, I leave it with you. If you do have any more information, I'll be happy to hear. I've been using the 65mm valve version, and they fit really well on this Vision 55mm wheels, and you should not have any issues with your pump. They ride a little bit more comfortably. It was quite counterintuitive because the material seems a bit more rigid, but it's actually possibly slippery, while the butyl tubes, once they are inside, pumped up at the same pressure, they might feel a little bit harsh, at least to me. But the most striking effect is the increase in speed, definitely tangible acceleration, and is something that is very, very addictive. So if you don't want to ride them, again, don't try them on. And now I'm going to perform a stub test. Yes, I got the inspiration from a video that Alexander Richardson posted on his Instagram, where he punctured a TPU tube and a latex tube. I don't have latex tube, I never used them, and I'm going to try a similar experiment on a RideNow TPU and the classic butyl tube. And I'm not going to use the knife on the tube outside the tires, but in this case I'm going to sacrifice two old Goodyear Eagles that I fitted when I built the Velobuild. I wasn't particularly fond of these tires. Grip is good, but they feel a little bit softer, so I got back to my usual GP 5000. Okay, both tires are fitted, nicely pumped. A couple of things to notice is that it was easier to fit the TPU tube. On the butyl, yes, you might need to use some talcum powder to make it smoother, to make sure that it fits better, but yes, it was slightly easier to fit the TPU one. Never inflate the tube outside the tire, because if you overinflate it, then it might deform the plastic and you will ruin the tube. You might need to give a little bit of shape to help the fitting, but small pressure to avoid distorting the plastic. Okay, don't try this at home. Last time I used a sharp object in a video, I ended up in ALE, so be very careful. Okay, that was easy enough to puncture the TPU one. And the same for the butyl one. Once the tubes are inside the tire, if there's a sharp object in place, then I guess the material of the tube doesn't really matter. I haven't tried with the latex ones, but in my mind I'm not sure if there would be any difference, because I believe that once the tube is pumped up at the maximum capacity, sits very close to the tire, any sharp object is likely to puncture it. The only failures I had while fitting these RideNow TPU tubes is from the valves. I had a couple of leaking valves, and what I do now is when I need to fit the tire, instead of pinching from the valve and moving forward, I leave the valve area untouched and I start pinching from the side to make sure that the beads of the tire sits in between to facilitate fitting the tire, but it's best to leave the area of the valve untouched. If you pinch in this area, you might damage the valve and air will leak. So yes, that's another tip from me if you want to use RideNows. In conclusion, they are very highly recommended. They ride fast, they pack small, they are light. I don't think there's a major drawback. They are cheap to replace. Is a win-win for me. Let me know in the comment your experience with them. If you find different brands, different alternatives, I'd love it to hear in the comments. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!